Hello, 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 hello.
Hi, audio's live now.
Yeah, so thanks for letting us know. Audio wasn't muted during that. Hopefully you can hear us fine now.
Yeah. I was like, Jason, is our mics on? As we were sitting here talking about whether or not we were on the right channel for the Cubs game, which we do in fact have.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that in the
playing back
comments.
there.
Do you have that in the background? Yeah, we haven't been
Mhm.
watching baseball at all. We've
We
been out of
hear-
it for a few years.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Someone just said we hear you, but don't see you.
Yeah, that's from earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, we haven't been able to follow baseball as easily as we've been able to follow football.
Well, there's a reason for that. They've made it hard.
Uh-oh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now
mean-
Jason's gonna open up big time
Well-
on the Marquee Channel and WGN and how
First of all, I'm
angry
not
it
paying
makes
for the
them.
Cubs for Marquee Channel.
Yeah.
And when we're not local, when we're local, we can get it on a local station theoretically. Sometimes it's all over the place. Like I it's obviously it's the same thing with the NFL. There's like 10 different places that you watch on. My concern is, I was talking about this with somebody the other day, that now you've got, I understand they're trying to, oh, I just spilled, cool. They're just trying to make more money, right? But when you paywall off this stuff, you're not creating a fan base. Like I grew up watching the Cubs, on WGN with my parents and my grandparents. It was broadcast nationwide. I mean, that's why they were had such a big fan base.
They were America's team.
Yeah, same thing with the Braves, because the Braves would be on TBS, and now you don't have that. And I get it. I know they need to find new sources of revenue, but I worry for baseball that they're not going to have, they're not going to grow a fan base over the coming years.
No, I mean, even I, growing up in Kansas City, I've been left because Jason spilled his drink. I guess we'll talk about drinks while he's run off. So tonight, I'm enjoying the last of my gluten-free beer that's here at the office. We need to do a desperate restock in this office. All we had left was this. And then Jason is going carbless tonight. So he's enjoying a vodka cocktail, pineapple flavored.
I have a whole bottle of Buffalo Trace here, but I just.
That is true, but we didn't. Can I get that napkin? Because I've now got.
Well,
I have carbless.
It's soaking wet too.
I have carbless on me. Delightful. There we go. Yeah. So even growing up in Kansas City, Royals fan, George Brett, all of that. Even I knew who the Braves and who the Cubs were because of TBS and because of WGN. And it used to be one of my favorite things when we lived in Chicago. So when we lived, the last place we lived in, the first place we lived in was only a few blocks from Wrigley Field. So we were not too far from the stadium. The last place we lived in, we could see on a game night, on a night game, we could see the stadium from our living room windows. And on a really nice night, when the windows were open and the Cubs would win, we could hear them all singing that god-awful song.
Well, Go Cubs Go came into being in our, in our time of living in Chicago.
Living in Chicago, yes. We were present when Cubs Go.
I used to I used to go over to Wrigley because I lived before Abby and I were together. I lived like a block and a half from Wrigley. I lived like so close.
Yeah, and then when we lived together, you lived 2 blocks.
Yeah, we've moved slightly further.
We moved half a block from your old place.
I lived there for a long time, and in different apartments in that area. The theater I worked at was right there, and my employer had season tickets, so I would often get to if he would. The only reason he had them was to give them out to random people that he wanted to impress, and if he didn't have somebody pick them up or something, I'd be able to take them. And then, but also if that wasn't available to me, I go over to Wrigley at like the second inning, and you could get a ticket from a scalper for like $10.
Oh yeah, the bleachers when I first moved to Chicago, they were $20.
And now
Can you
I
imagine
feel
going to a
like
Cubs game for $20?
I feel like I'm talking about like the 1930s now. But
When Wrigley first was built, we would all saunter up on a
so
Sunday.
you remember when the White Sox new stadium was built, the Cell, which is not the Cell anymore,
No.
Guaranteed Rate Field. Right?
Sure.
There's Old Comiskey, and then
Yeah.
it got torn down for the new park shortly after we moved to Chicago.
Sure.
Do you know that New Comiskey, Guaranteed Rate Stadium, used to be the Cell, is now the 6th oldest park in Major League Baseball?
Woof. So this was our audition for any baseball broadcasting that needs to be done. As you can see, not only can we talk about the game, but we can riff about facts.
They apparently
that have to do
allow
with
anyone
baseball.
to do it. So.
So we have our first question. So as you might see, there's a banner up. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to go ahead and drop them in the comments. This is open to all of our YouTube and a community in general tonight. Normally, this is a monthly live stream we do for members of our mile marker community, but every so often throughout the year, we like to open it up to the community at large, give you an idea to see what it's like to spend an hour with us, answer your questions, hang out, and hopefully encourage you to support what we do here at RV Miles and become a mile marker. But Sandy would like to know the all-important question of the evening. What brand is this gluten-free beer? This is the only gluten-free beer I have been able to find in the entire Quad Cities area at my local Hy-Vee, and it is from Lakefront Brewery in Wisconsin. It's a gluten-free New Grist Pilsner style beer, and it's a meh for me. It's no Holiday, which is my favorite gluten-free beer out of Colorado. Is there any reason why that weird thing is now up on our monitor?
What weird thing?
See, the monitor's got the little green arrow going through it. And
that just tells you it's level.
Oh, good. Well, we're level tonight, everybody, in case you were concerned. So that is what that is. Bill wants to know what the Cubbies have to do with RVs.
I think you're going to find, Bill, that
wow, Bill,
lots of things we talk about are not going to have anything to do with it.
Welcome, Bill. This may not be the live stream for you, friend. So there's more to life than RV.
It's playoffs, and the playoffs are on. So
yeah. Let's see. What do we got here? I saw another question that was, there we go. Mike would like to chat about the problems with the theme music and why it might need to change. So quick backstory for those of you who don't watch the RV Miles podcast, which you should over on the RV Miles podcast YouTube channel. We have been having issues with our theme music. We have had that theme music since the day RV Miles was born. It's we have a license for it. It's completely legal.
Yeah,
but for some reason, we are getting tagged with a copyright every single week.
We bought a license for it, a lifetime license for it from a website, a well-known, reputable music licensing website. And it's been fine up until essentially this year. No issues at all. And now all of a sudden, they give us a copyright claim on our YouTube videos every single week. And I even talked to them about it. They give me a code to put in the description, an updated one, and I did that. And it's still happening. It's still happening. And this company is being fairly unresponsive about it. And the problem is when you dispute a copyright, because what happens when you have a copyright claim, that the copyright owner can do several things. They can take all the revenue. They can just shut your video down entirely, or they can share the revenue with you. Regardless, YouTube doesn't really sort that out until the dispute is resolved. So we can dispute it every single week, and we do, and then they have 60 days to respond. And they take 60 days. They actually don't respond. They just let it sit for the 60 days, and then YouTube releases it. And what happens over the course of that 60 days is YouTube doesn't show that video to nearly as many people.
No, we see our views drop. We see our new subscribers drop, which is really frustrating. And we see just a complete and total sort of like just lull in what we're doing, which is obviously not something that you want when you're creating a weekly podcast and you're hoping to have conversations with other RVers out on YouTube. So we have to make a decision because it stopped for a few episodes when we finally got a little bit more interaction with YouTube and this owner or whatever. And then we saw it start again. And now that we've seen it start again with these last couple episodes, it's just been like static.
The episodes
over there.
where it didn't happen, like they really all took off, and it was very, very obvious that YouTube is holding us back. So we're probably going to have to change the theme music to something that we own permanently. We'll have somebody do some music for us, something like that. And and we're probably going to have to just say goodbye to that song, which is called Kansas City Heartbeat.
It's called Kansas City Heartbeat. It's been a good 8-year run with that theme song. We will miss it, but this is kind of starting to get to be shenanigans. And frankly, we're tired of somebody else holding our content hostage.
Yeah.
Like we create it. We have the legal rights to be doing it. And the fact that somebody else gets to dictate whether or not that video is shown is infuriating to us. I mean, we're probably going to have to switch it up. So that's the deal. We got another question. Ooh, so if Bill's still here, Bill, this is going to be RV related. So you might want to listen into this one. Do you prefer boondocking or full hookups or both? Both.
Yeah.
I prefer both, but it all depends on the situation. I love a good full hookup after I've been boondocking.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the
know,
cost of full hookups.
Yeah.
Love the cost of boondocking. Sometimes a full hookup campsite is terrible. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes a boondocking site is terrible. Sometimes it's great. In general, I definitely prefer boondocking. There's challenges with that, of course, but in general, if it's a cool boondocking site, I definitely prefer boondocking and not spending the money.
Yeah, I think I prefer boondocking much like I prefer state parks and federal campgrounds because there's more space. But in certain situations, especially like on this last trip when it was staying pretty cold and we weren't being able to, when we weren't out exploring, we were kind of all inside, and just kind of being able to have the full hookup campgrounds and have all the power, especially because it was a lot of cloudy days and we had a lot of snow, and there's 5 of us, and just being able to have the power and have the running hot water as much as we needed, and just kind of have those creature comforts when it was snowy and cold outside. It was kind of nice to be able to do that with the RV. So like Jason said, it's really situational. We just did a couple weekends ago, we just did like an electric only city park, which we'll actually be talking about on this week's upcoming RV Miles podcast. We went to a music festival, and then we stayed at a city park. And that was actually really nice. We did that for a weekend, and it's been a while since we'd been in a city park. So I would say we just really like all of it. We can't pick just one.
David wants to know about essentially advice for smaller rig camping, but not necessarily deep woods boondocking. Any advice on finding the happy middle? So yeah, we traveled pretty extensively for a bit there in a 25-foot travel trailer. And I guess the biggest thing is that it just, opens up what's available to you extensively at parks. We were in the 25-foot travel trailer. We stayed when we were not boondocking almost exclusively in state parks. And and it's nice that you have, obviously, that's probably why you bought one, is that instead of something ginormous, is that you have access to so many sites out there. In terms of content for you,
I would say, I'll throw out all of 2023, and our 2023 and 2024 podcasts are all us camping in a 25-foot RV. And like Jason said, we did it all. We were, in a bougie San Diego Sun Outdoors RV resort in this massive site with our little 25-foot travel trailer, all the way down to pulling off on the side of the road, in Canada on our way to Alaska, just, sleeping on a pull-off for the night, like we did so much in that rig. And I think that's some of what's been really great for us to have had that experience is I think it's kind of shown Jason and I a little bit of the kind of RVers we would like to be in later years when we aren't camping with 3 teenagers.
So if you're in the comments, in their channels that you like that camp in smaller rigs regularly, list them for David to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think that's super cool. A-liners, you're going to have a great time in it. And it's nice to be nimble like that. As much as I love all of the creature comforts of the 37 RV miles of our fifth wheel, I miss how quickly we could pack up and go with just like one slide, and how we could access everything on a travel day.
Yeah. Now you have a little work to put your A-liner together, but
it's different, but it's still, the amount of time, like we usually on the inside of the fifth wheel now, I need to allot about an hour before we're like ready for Jason to hook up. And, in the Ibex, it was like 15 minutes. And so I would say that that's, a big difference, but yeah, for sure. Drop some suggestions for David down in the comments. Did you go back up to this?
To Robert's comment.
Right here.
Yes, it just requires some backstory. So we just had our homecoming rally. Thanks to all of you that attended that are here. We had such a great time, and we do a couple things. We did kind of like a live game show for the first time.
Yeah.
We do a live recording of the podcast, and we have a trivia night.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the trivia questions.
They were feisty with you this year.
They are feisty every year.
Then you got feisty with them.
Yeah, this year I was going to give it back.
Got feisty.
The last 2 years I was like, oh, did I get something wrong? No.
No, okay. You were feisty this year. You were like, I've made a decision.
So the question was, and admittedly, the question could have used some more context.
Some nuance.
In the wording of the question. The question was, what is the westernmost interstate in the U.S., right? The expected answer was I-5. And I did clarify when I read it, like, okay, and it's north to south, not an east-west interstate, not like it has its terminus, as far as the furthest north-south. And the answer was supposed to be I-5. And somebody put down 405, and they're like, the 405 is west of the I-5. And I was like, okay, I looked it up, and on the map, 405 is west of I-5. What Robert's telling me here is that it's not west of all of I-5, which I also didn't look at that. Regardless, one team got that question because I didn't clarify that we're not doing the numbered sites, the numbered, the hundreds interstates.
So you're
fine, Robert.
You should come to homecoming next year so that you too can give Jason a really hard time on his trivia.
I gave them a point.
It is my most favorite part when they all start giving it back to you. Because you I love to see you challenged because you are immediately like.
Well, this time I had a computer in front of me. It's pouring outside.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We haven't had rain here in a very long time. In fact, we have had October. It's been upper 80s, 90s all week long. So we might actually start getting some fall-like weather before winter rolls in here. Oh my gosh, what is that?
Richard.
Wow, Richard.
That is way too kind of you.
Holy
Thank you
moly.
so much. You are our fresh tank. And we we greatly appreciate
Look at
it.
that,
Thank
Captain
you so
Jack
much
Sparrow.
for the $49.99
Look
super
at
chat.
you.
Thank you.
That's very kind of you. And now I'm going to have the Michael Bolton, Captain Jack Sparrow, SNL skit
Oh my
song
gosh.
stuck in my head.
It's so good.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, I highly recommend that you Google it. It's quite a good laugh. It's a good little SNL short. We had right down here. Oh, up here, we've got another question. We need to go back. Do you miss full-time RVing? That's a really good question, Rebecca. Yes and no. So I miss, and we were asked this too, I think at homecoming.
Yeah. So the episode of the podcast that we just put out is a lot of kind of this Q&A from homecoming. And this was one of the questions that we got. Actually, the question was, what do we miss about full-timing and what do you love about having a home base now? But yeah, I think we both miss certainly parts of it.
I miss the freedom of it. I miss the ever-changing landscape. I miss looking out my window and seeing something different almost on a weekly basis. I miss exploring. I miss being able to go into new communities and learn about those communities and interact with the people that live there and broaden my horizon beyond just the town that I live in and the streets I drive every single day. I miss hiking more regularly. I miss mountains. I miss new food cuisines, things I don't miss, or I guess I should say the opposite is things I love about not being full-time. And I said this was my dishwasher, my full-size washer dryer, unlimited hot water.
The work environment for us has become so much better since moving to a home base, being able to have this studio, being able to have everything set up and come in here and do our work and go home and leave our work here. That kind of stuff has been helpful.
I like that the kids can move around without feeling like they're going to knock over the rig. It's for people who weigh so little. They're so strong. They're so strong in their movements. In fact, one of ours is Ethan is with us again tonight, everybody. He will be with us on Monday nights for the foreseeable future because he has rehearsal down the street. So he is currently over there, headphones on, probably watching some reels, getting caught up on all the F1 gossip that he'll share with me later. But yeah, I would say we do miss it and look forward to an extended form of travel later on. But I also know right now that we wouldn't be happy doing it right now because I see just how happy the kids are right now with the life that we're building here in the Quad Cities. And so, as much as I miss it, I also know we're doing the right thing right now.
We've not a swarm, but there have been lots of stink bugs in our rig as of late.
There was one on the car yesterday. And I was like, did you come home from Amana with us? Like, what are you doing here? So yeah, I would say, Bruce, if you ever get a chance, Tina and Robert have an incredible stink bug story about swarming their camper.
I say our worst bug story was probably on our way up to Alaska in Canada. I think we were in the Yukon, and we were at some boondocking site just overnight, and it was like we all raced to get out of the truck to get into the trailer.
Oh
because
man,
they
that
were
was
just so bad. So many mosquitoes.
That was insane. And I would say that was kind of the one thing about the trip up to Alaska, and even in Alaska for a while, was that we didn't get to be outside as much as we wanted to, because in some places the mosquitoes were so thick and so bad. There was just no stopping.
Yeah, and I don't know if we went up a little early, so I don't know if it was just like they were all just hatching or whatever. I don't know, but it was bad. Bad.
So besides RV Miles, what is your favorite RV YouTube channel?
Oh.
That's a really good one. Now, you were just watching the other night. You were watching Traveling Robert because you're you're hot on buying some land right now.
I am hot on buying some land, which is something we can talk about. I've met Robert Morales a few times now. I see him pretty much at every big RV show we go to, and he is just one of the kindest people. His wife is even kinder than him, and I have a lot of respect for anybody that can do long form travel content like he does. I mean, some of his videos are well over an hour long, and that used to not be the type of thing that I like to watch. But now I kind of just like to just zone out and sit back and watch something like that. So Traveling Robert, I've been enjoying lately.
Yeah. And just kind of like seeing how he has navigated land. I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of RV content like when I'm just chilling out. Like I watch a lot of RV content for work. I tend to watch more or interact with RV content more on Instagram and in short form. I don't watch it a lot in long form video. And that's not because I don't enjoy it. It's just that I don't have a lot of time. And usually when I sit down to watch YouTube, I'm completely zoning out in something like the woman that I watch who lives on Svalbard, or the guys that play tag across Europe, or all of my history videos, or something like that. I use it as time just to do something that generally Jason isn't super interested in, like my history videos, my European history videos and things like that. But that's not to say there aren't incredible YouTube content makers out there that are doing RV stuff. But I do tend to interact with them more on Instagram.
Hi, Kelly. Good to hear from you again.
Hi.
A lot of you coming from the Balloon Fiesta right now. Kelly says the Balloon Fiesta is only boondocking this year. Normally, all the camping,
really?
The main camping, like the South camping, there's the other lots too. I'm sure the presidential camping isn't boondocking only, but usually there's like some electrical hookup sites, and I guess there's not this year. That's interesting. We had an interesting time with our generator when we were there last. They get picky about where you put the generator. Like you have to have a spark arrestor on it. If your spark arrestor is falling off, you can't use it. It has to be elevated 2 feet off the ground. And they tell you it's because you're all camping on top of something that's radiating sewer gas. And like, oh, great. Thanks for that. But like,
it's going to turn into a serious Cousin Eddie situation.
This guy kept coming by and being annoyed with where I had my generator and stuff. When it wasn't running, like I wouldn't have it. I had this little table that I would have it up on, and when it wasn't running, I would put it back on the ground and get it out of the way, put it under the rig or whatever. And he'd come give me a hard time about it. And like at the same time, the campers next to us have like a full fire pit. The fires are banned. They're have a fire. We had an awful generator neighbor one night who didn't have you're supposed to have the tube that goes up to the roof if you've got a motorhome with a built-in generator, and it was like pumping right into our rig.
Wow, you're really selling the Balloon Fiesta right now to everybody. Keep it up.
The camping isn't the greatest.
Camping is the best.
The camping,
you cannot beat those balloons.
When the balloons are not above you, the camping's not great.
They're going to take your AC off.
When the balloons are there,
right
it's
over
great.
You. It is absolutely amazing. Just say hi really quick to our friends over at Ember that have popped on here.
We just put out, I just put out a news video like seconds ago, so all of you should go watch that news video. And I mentioned the new reimagined Ember Touring Edition.
There you go.
Which is exciting.
You guys could watch it before me. I don't even watch the RV Miles content, so that should tell you. Joe and Lisa, it was really nice having you guys at Homecoming. So thank you so much for being there. Every time we leave, we always say, I can't believe it's going to be another year before we do this again.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, and we have such a good time, and we were really looking forward. We're doing it again October 7th through the 11th, 2026. So please mark your calendars. Please come back. And for anyone who hasn't, please come join us next year. Quick update. The Brewers just tied it up with the Cubs. It was 3-0. And then the Brewers just hit a 3-run home run and tied it up. So there you go. I thought I saw another question really quick. Oh, what were your favorite winter havens? I'm full-time and still haven't decided where to spend the winter. I really enjoyed spending the winter in the Palm Springs area.
So
We really liked that.
We've had 3 major wintering areas that we've gone back to multiple times. One being Palm Springs area, which is not as expensive as you would think Southern California would be during the winter. And Southern California is obviously like weather-wise sort of paradise in the winter. It does get a little cold and windy from time to time in the Palm Springs area, but easy access to Joshua Tree. And if you want to go into LA and on that, we actually went down to San Diego from there a couple of times. So we like the Palm Springs area a lot. We've spent a lot of time in New Mexico. We've done a lot of sort of like just north of where a lot of people winter. So spending some time or higher elevation. So we've spent a lot of time in New Mexico in the winter, even though it can get fairly cool in some of the higher elevations in New Mexico for sure. Even like all the way down south near the border, it can be pretty cool. But we love it there. And we've spent a lot of time along the Gulf Coast.
Oh yeah.
In
Pensacola, Florida.
Pensacola,
we really enjoyed Gulf Island National
Louisiana,
Seashore.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Again, it's like not there are places that a lot of people when they winter, they want to go somewhere where they're not going to have to use propane heat at all. And those were all places where we had to.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but we prefer that. I mean, we prefer when it gets a little bit colder in the evening and then it's not getting so warm during the day. Like we still like, I think, and that's just part of, our Midwest upbringing is we still like to have a little bit of that feel of cooler weather while at the same time not seeing snow, not having to winterize and not having to wear heavy winter
Well, and
coats.
along with that is from Bob here. What are your thoughts on the Quartzsite, Arizona area? So we've driven through there many times.
Paging Tony.
We stayed there once, but it was not we actually stayed in an RV park, terrible RV park, but it was just a couple nights on our way through. And, I mean, the thing there is it's the weather. Like it's decently warm in the winter and you can, there's plenty of free available land and they've set it up for you to be able to stay long-term without, breaking the rules and having to move around. Is there anything special about it other than that? I don't know. I mean, unless you have build a community of people down there, which a lot of people do.
A lot of people do. It becomes kind of like their yearly meetup out there in Quartzsite.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, for sure, especially with the Quartzsite RV show that happens in January as well, that draws a decent amount of people out there. And then they usually will end up extending and staying through the rest of the winter.
We rarely stopped long enough to justify that sort of thing. So we would have in the long-term visitor areas.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time we did Arizona in the winter one year. We spent a lot of time in Camp Verde, Arizona. We spent a lot of time in Tucson. And but we like to hop around. We like to move around. I think the only place we've ever done monthlies in Arizona or in the winter is in Palm Springs. Yeah, it's the only time we were somewhere long enough that we did a winter. There's so many people jumping in right now to say that they're going to be at homecoming next year, which is very, very exciting. I'm already looking forward to it. And it's literally starting 1 year and 1 day from now. So I'm already very excited. But speaking of that, are there any hangout gatherings planned between now and homecoming next year? So for those who don't know, we did in May of this year, the first weekend of May, we did what we called it a hangout, which is smaller than our homecoming rally. So our homecoming rally,
We have anywhere from 50 to 75 campsites reserved. So that can be anywhere from 100 to 150 people that attend. And then, but we wanted to do something a little bit smaller where there wasn't going to be as much. We didn't feel that we needed to do as much big planning, that it was more of just a little get together. So we call it a hangout. And we did this in Utah back in May, just right outside of Park City. And I think we had maybe around like 15 rigs. So there's like 30 to 40 of us.
It was 40 people. I'm pretty sure it was around 40 people.
And so
including us.
Yeah. And we called it the High Desert Hangout. It was just for a weekend. And that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah. The plan is to do something like that. We have not planned it yet. So we're if you got ideas, we'd love to hear them. We'd love to not go further than a 2-day drive from here.
I think we're kind of thinking of maybe going to Hill Country in Texas,
which is still decently far.
Which is still 900 miles from us. But we think given the time of year that we would want to do it, we probably would need to get that far south. And then also just to be able, the whole point of Hangouts a little bit is to get away from where we have homecoming, which is in Amana, Iowa, to kind of get away from that as far as we can so that we get the opportunity to see others who can't make it.
We don't want to do it in the Midwest. We've talked about maybe the Smokies. That's a possibility if we find the right place.
We've talked. I think that's going to be our big trip next year.
The challenge is finding the right campground that has the facilities to accommodate a small rally, because we want it to be somewhat weatherproof. We want the ability to still meet and hang out with if it's raining and all that. So it's got to have a building or a big pavilion or something.
Yeah. So that's kind of the plan. A lot of people have said, well, can you do it around Tampa because we're going to be at the RV show in January. And that is the logistics of that is just really hard for us, because when we go to Tampa, the last couple of years, we've not taken the rig.
Yes. And now that we've got a kid in college and stuff, it's a whole lot of, we fly down there, and it's also,
and it's just getting out of our area in January can either be really, really easy because we've had no snow and we've had no ice and it's just cold and whatever, we just push on or it's an absolute nightmare and we run the risk of severe weather trying to get down there and
delaying us and all that. It's also a huge work week for us. There's so much new coming out in the RV industry, so it becomes a big thing, and it's a lot. So I don't think it will happen around that. But maybe we can do, for folks that are there, we could try to do like go out to a brewery or something sort of situation.
Maybe we can maybe that's something we can try to get together. So if anyone is interested in maybe a volunteer helping organize a hangout, if you have some ideas, because I see all of you with your wonderful ideas, I would love some assistance on that. That would be amazing, because I know what'll end up happening is it'll just get later and later, because we're, right now we're looking towards, Jason's headed back up to Elkhart in just a couple weeks for a Ford towing seminar. And then a couple of aftermarket, some OEMs have some showcases. So he's doing that. And then, we roll into the holiday season, and then all of a sudden we're in Tampa. And then the next thing
we have to have something planned we have to have at least dates set by probably the end of this month.
Yeah. So we'll
dates
see.
And a location.
But you should talk a little bit about this Ford thing that you're going up to do, because
I talked about it a little bit on the news video. So if you want to check that out too, but I had a really great conversation with the woman who's in charge of this, whose name is escaping me. She was just sort of kind of put in charge of this event that Ford has been trying to launch for years now, where they have a towing boot camp is what they call it, where they have a team that goes around the country and they host these events. You have to pay. It's not like a Ford product demonstration. it's like a class where you I think what they do, they've been trying to do it at a couple different RV shows, and they have the in classroom portion free, and then you pay if you want to do the hands-on stuff, which is they teach you how to hook up and unhook up a trailer, and they drive you around a parking lot and stuff like that. And for most of us, not that big of a deal, but I get questions all the time from people who are like, I've never towed anything before. I don't know if I can do this. Where can I learn? And it's hard to give them an answer other than going to like a commercial driving school, which is, a bit much. It's really hard to give them a good answer. And most people, when they buy an RV, tow for the first time off the lot, so it'd be nice to get a little bit of hands-on stuff. So I really support the fact that Ford's doing this, but also they're doing this in Elkhart because they want to also get more people in the RV industry who may not be RVers to have a little bit of experience. And they're also trying to bring this around to a lot of their dealers because, they actually said to me, like, we get in trouble sometimes because a dealer will say, yeah, this truck can tow your RV, and then they find out it can't, and they don't want that, but it happens, and we all know it happens. So I just think it's really interesting. Anyway, they're having this event. They're having a media day at it, so I'm going to go to that, and then we're going to I'm going to a product showcase for Airxcel. Airxcel, if you watch my video on all the different aftermarket suppliers, Airxcel makes all sorts of different things, and they have a big product showcase. So I'm going up for that. Just a quick two-day trip up to Elkhart.
He's going to be very busy. So, and that's one of the things too about we've noticed, just to go back to the full-time comment, because we get the full-time comment question a lot, and it's a really valid one because we were full-timers for so long and we loved it so much. So we do get a lot of questions about if we miss it. But I would say that from a work standpoint, one of the biggest things we've been able to do since we got off the road, which seems almost like the opposite of what it should be because we're not full-time RVing now. But since we've been able to get off the road, we are actually able to cover the industry in a much more thorough and complete way because power station just dropped.
It might have.
Uh-oh.
But that's okay.
Hold. I'm going to do my sign language. Hold on.
I think they can hear us now.
Stay with us. We're all fine.
So somebody let me know if you can hear us. Audio's back. Okay, so you're coming to us through the computer.
Oh, so I don't need this anymore?
So you don't need the microphone anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, one of our lights turned off, the soundboard turned off.
Listen, if you're a mile marker, you know how this goes. It's fine. It's fine.
Did that thing die?
I think the Jackery
I plug us into like a portable power station so that if there is a pouring rainstorm and there are power fluctuations, this doesn't happen.
Did it turn off?
But apparently it wasn't fully.
The Jackery, is it? Yeah, it's off.
Apparently I didn't charge it.
Ethan has confirmed. Our tech guy over there has confirmed. Ethan, they're wanting to know if you've got a joke for us tonight. Ethan says no. He says hard stop, not happening. He's still working on a stand-up routine. So as soon as he gets that perfected, we'll be back. What were we talking about? Oh, I was saying that it's been really, really nice to be able to cover the industry and in a little bit more. Whatever. Let's move on. I forgot what I was saying.
Mike, we look forward to seeing you at the Content Creator Meetup. But I wanted to bring that one up because I wanted to bring up this response to it from Fuller Adventures. Mike, that sounds so fun. Wanted to be a content creator so bad. I've got hours, days of footage, and zero content actually made. Welcome to that was our first several years of doing this. And my biggest piece of advice to you is stop going out and randomly filming all kinds of video, filming your entire day, filming everything. If you want to make content, if you want to make a video, and you're like in an area for a week, one day is your filming day. Plan everything you're going to do that day. Plan some shots that you want. Make a list of things. Make a plan for how that video is going to go. Then go shoot it. Put it together. I can't tell you how many hard drives full of video that we had that never got used, and how often we've talked to others who've gone through the same thing. We never got good at the sort of travel vlogging thing, which is why we sort of moved to the news and then podcasts where we can just chat. And but you know, give it a shot. The biggest thing you can do to become a content creator is make content. And shooting video isn't making content. You gotta actually make something and publish it.
Yeah, this is really sweet. Like, I'm not gonna pull it up, but it's really sweet. So, well, I'll pull it up. It just feels strange. I just wanted to say I saw this and I wanted to say thank you. I don't remember what I was singing at homecoming.
Probably Oklahoma.
Oh, maybe I might have been.
We
One of the trivia questions was Oklahoma.
We did. I did make people mad with this category. I maybe could have given you a few more notes. Although, you know, I mean, some people got 7 out of 10. Okay. So I did a category. I did a trivia category where I gave just a snippet, like a half second or more, of a travel themed song. So like one of them was the song Oklahoma from the musical Oklahoma, or Rocky Mountain Way by Joel Walsh, or, you know, stuff like that. And I didn't play too many notes of most songs.
He would literally play
I would
like
look out,
2
like,
measures.
the people would be like, "What?"
Yeah, he would.
Next year I'll make.
Snippets.
I'll have a few questions that have a little bit more, and then there's still going to be some that have next to nothing.
But a fun fact about Oklahoma is, and the reason why I was so excited that he put it on there, was it was the first musical that I was in when I was in college. So I have a degree in musical theater. So I went to Columbia College. So I studied voice for many, many years, and then was studying to be a musical theater actor, which I did before we got on the road. So Oklahoma was the very first show I was in when I was in college. I played Gertie Cummins, who had this really high-pitched, annoying laugh. I was like typecasting. And so I was very excited when that came up because it brought back a lot of good memories. But I'm not currently singing anywhere. I did recently get back into studying voice. So I do meet with a voice teacher once a week, and am reintroducing myself to my voice. I haven't really sung in probably like 12 years. I haven't taken a lesson in probably 13. And I did recently audition for something. We'll see what happens with
When
that.
I met Abby, she was in a show that I was working on where she had a blacked out tooth and a giant fake mole.
I have had a really enjoyable career of being able to play a lot of characters. I have been a sea witch who had a missing tooth. I have been a drunk burlesque dancer, I guess is the best way to say it, in Gypsy. I've had a lot of, I've also gotten to play a lot of really great other non extreme characters as well, but I have enjoyed.
One of the things we get to do with our mile marker friends this time of year is we play fantasy football, and I'm in. So we have 2 leagues, and then we have a family league.
Yeah.
And I won all 3 of my games this week. And yes, Michael, it felt good to beat you. Really did.
I am getting destroyed in fantasy this year. It is just the worst. I think I might be 0-4, soon to be 0-5. It was bad. So let's see if we've got some other.
Tina says it was not a snippet of music, it was a snip.
A trivia category for next year should be songs from Spamalot. That would be amazing.
So Bruce, I don't know what their requirements are, but you know, you can always just pay to go into the show too, and it's like a 3-day ticket for $15. You just won't get into the media day. So I do know they have some sort of minimum, but I don't know if they publish what it is. But
The 1 in 4.
you know,
I won that.
just go anyway.
Oh.
Just not to the media day, which you know.
Ethan says that I'm 1 in 4.
The thing about the media
Like,
day
I'm so
that
proud.
everybody wants to get into, a lot of content creators want to get into the media day. The thing they don't tell you about the media day is that half the rigs don't have power yet because they're working on plugging them all in, and they might not have their signage up with like the price of the rig, the name of it, the floor plan drawing, and all that sort of stuff. It can be a bit of a zoo. It's helpful, but it's not the most important thing.
If you think that they slap this thing together in the 11th hour, we're here to tell you that they do.
I mean, it's an amazing process.
I mean, it is. There's a ton that has to happen.
When they roll all those rigs into an RV show like that, first of all, every single one of them has a transporter, bringing them. If it's from a local dealer, they're just bringing it back and forth. But if they're bringing it from a long distance, if they're bringing it from Elkhart, like that's a long drive. And then every single one of those rigs goes through a wash station. So they wash them all before they get to the site, and then they park them. I mean, if you've been to one, they park them within an inch of each other, so you can't walk in between them.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, it is. I really enjoy the Tampa RV show, because it's outside and it's in Florida and it's nice to get away in the Midwest. But I kind of really enjoy sort of how it is. It's a ton of walking, but I actually like the way it's laid out. And I feel like if we have a good solid plan, and if you're attending and you have a good solid plan, you can see a lot in just a couple of days.
Yeah.
But it does require a little bit of like pregame. And so, for us, what's been difficult is it's hard to figure out what the pregame is on media day, because there's no information given
and
out.
Some people are better at it than us, but usually what we do is use that media day to figure out what we want to cover.
And then usually on Wednesday is when we start getting the emails start hitting our inbox from like manufacturers that are like, "Oh, are you here? Come look at this. Come look at that." And we're like, "But we were here yesterday."
Yeah, when there wasn't 100 people walking through your rig every moment.
It's really hard because we really try to be mindful. When we like to film on media day, because on public days, we don't like our camera in your face while you're trying to enjoy the RV show. We don't want to be trying to do like little reels and snippets of like little talking about rigs when people are going in and out, because, we want them to be able to enjoy it themselves. Also, we don't want to be having people in shots that maybe they don't want to be in the shot. Like maybe they don't want to be in the video. They don't want to be in the news video. So we try to be really mindful of those things, but it gets harder to do.
And we don't cover stuff the way that, some of the other folks do. They'll do like 40 reels of a full tour of each one. And that's not our style of content. So it doesn't quite matter as much to us, but
yeah. So Fuller Adventures, can we talk about how to go about taking a Forest River camper to Forest River to have maintenance done like y'all did with your rig? It sounded like a cool thing to do. Do you just call and schedule?
So the thing about Forest River is it's not one company. And a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their heads around this, and it's perfectly understandable why, because also, they may have like 50 brands. It's not 50 individual companies. So it is one company, but they have different working groups within them. So like Cherokee is the working group that Sabre is under, and those individual groups operate all differently. So really what you need to do is contact warranty support
for your brand, whoever that warranty support is for your brand. They're probably going to tell you they want you to go through a dealer first, depending on who they are. Again, there are all sorts of different brands at Forest River, and they all operate in completely different ways. So they may say, yeah, come up, we'll touch things up for you. More than likely, they're going to try to send you to a dealer first, because that's kind of the relationship, is they're supposed to pay the dealers to do the work. And, some RV brands have like full customer service centers. Like, Grand Design has their big customer service center that are sort of meant for this, and others don't. But still, it starts with a phone call to the warranty service folks. But the other way that you can get sort of free work done on your rig quickly is if you go to a manufacturer's rally. So a lot of manufacturers have a rally that is based just around their brand. And if you go to that rally, they will often have a roving sort of fix-it team that will come around and take care of some major issues.
And Forest River does several of them.
Yeah.
They're called Frog rallies.
FROG.
In fact, they were having one the weekend after us in Amana, Iowa. So a lot of people, we've known in the past that some people have come and stayed for our rally, and then they stay for the Frog rally.
Now, a lot of those are
whatever.
chapter supported, so they're not. A lot of the Frog rallies are chapters, so they're not. They're not forced or sort of factory supported. But
I think
the big one is
maybe is in Amana. It's pretty big. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Don't quote us. Don't quote us on that.
I don't think they do maintenance.
So we had a question, and this will lead into, actually, you're going to have more on this tomorrow. Any comments on the government shutdown? I'm at Bryce Canyon. Utah is keeping the park and visitor center open.
Yeah.
But it looks like Petrified Forest. My next destination is closed.
So again, the news video I just put out, I covered this a decent bit. And then tomorrow on the Parkography channel, I'm going to go even deeper into it. There are a couple main things to expect. In general, the thing to expect is anything that normally shuts down for certain times of the day, like Petrified Forest National Park, is not open overnight. You're not going to have access to in general. In bigger parks where there's lots of access and there's roads that go through that aren't normally gated, that are open 24 hours, you're going to be able to go into those places. The National Park Service ran visitor centers are generally going to be closed, except in certain instances, like Utah is paying to keep the parks open. They've committed to that. At Great Smoky Mountains National Park, some of the park was closed and has now opened because Tennessee and North Carolina are working together to make that happen. Parks have been given permission to use their entrance fee revenue. So if they've got a bank account full of entrance fee revenue, they can use that to keep things open. But the big thing to know is that stuff will change over time as some of that money runs out, right? So you can expect the unexpected. Things will change. And also the very unfortunate and difficult part of this is the websites are not being updated and the social media is not being updated. So you cannot go to the website. So for instance, you mentioned Petrified Forest National Park. You go to their website, it doesn't say they're closed. It says they're open tomorrow, but in fact, they are closed. The gates are closed. So what you have to do is kind of work around and check with like the local, the social medias for like the local towns or the tourism boards or the nonprofits associated with the park, like the Yellowstone Conservancy or Yellowstone Forever or the Grand Canyon Conservancy, that sort of thing. And it's going to be a little bit of a mess of asking. Of course, you can try to call. If they call, if they answer when you call, then they're going to be open. The thing to not do is call recreation.gov about camping reservations because they have no idea.
Well, aren't some parks open though without visitor center being open? So even if you called and nobody answered,
most are open without visitor center.
So you could call and no one would answer, but the park could still be open.
Some of them, some of them are open, but you could also try to call like one of the concessionaires. So if there's lodging on site, that's usually going to be concessionaire ran. If there's like a lodge or cabins. You could call that concessionaire and ask them, or look at their social media and get information that way. But it's hard to get the information. But the most important thing is, if you're going to national parks or other federal sites, including Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Forest Service, a lot of sites people don't realize are federal units, like their local, their local recreation lake, they might not know is Army Corps of Engineers. You just want to double check that stuff before you go, because it could change. So.
Yeah. So Jason will have a full video on this. Normally, we put a video out every Tuesday on the Parkography YouTube channel. That's our National Parks YouTube channel and podcast. And normally we rotate. One Tuesday is a news video. Then the following Tuesday will be a story about a national park, something that, is something inside one of the national parks, right? So, but because there's so much that's changing and it's so different, we will not have a story from a park tomorrow, but instead you're going to be doing a special
I'm going to do an update on where things are with the shutdown and public lands.
Yeah. So we're probably going to wrap this up here pretty soon and get going, but I think this is a great point here, David. At what point do we have to say my viewers want to ask about my skincare routine?
What's funny is
when we
I don't get
don't get me started. Like that was probably not the question to take right before we're about to.
I get lots of questions. I get lots of trim your beard. There was a while there where I was getting lots of hair questions, or not questions, comments.
Yeah, they weren't questions; they were comments.
Lots of don't wear sunglasses.
Oh yeah, don't wear sunglasses. We can't see your eyes, so you're dishonest.
That shirt's too loud.
Yeah, we've gotten that. It's at some point. I mean, but also, it just comes with the territory, and it's fine. It's okay. I mean, what do they say? What do they say? Opinions are like everyone's got one. So
if Neutrogena wants to dump, wants to back up the Brinks truck over here, I'll do a skincare video.
Listen, there's something really frustrating that comes with being a person of a certain age, because all your social media ads are just about what's wrong with you. And it could be like, oh, have you gained a little weight? Okay, well, you might have these 12 different diseases, and here's the one mushroom coffee that will save you from all of them. Or here's the one supplement, or here's the one skincare routine so that you don't get crepe neck, whatever that is. But apparently I have to be worried about it now. So it's like, I'm almost to the point where I told you the other day, I've just stopped. This is another reason why I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube anymore. I've just stopped because I can't, they're going to turn me into a hypochondriac who thinks that she's dying at every...
Richard, thanks so much for joining.
Jack Sparrow, yes.
Yeah, that's very kind of you. And if you're interested in this nonsense that we do on a regular basis, you can become a mile marker too. It's $7 a month or $70 a year, but we appreciate you however you interact with us, whether you're a mile marker, part of our support community, or you're just a subscriber on one of the YouTube channels. Not just, if you are a subscriber of the YouTube channels or the podcast, or you comment or like videos, we greatly appreciate your help in broadening the community that gets to see what we do by commenting, liking, sharing, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. The people want to see me more on this channel. Could you imagine if I started doing the news? Could you even imagine what that would be like?
I think you'd be great. You've done it a couple times and we're great at it.
No,
and people were like, "Oh, Abby, you did a great job."
At some point, because Jason is so good. He's so good at being impartial.
In fact,
and at some point, I would probably stop in the middle of the news and just be like, "Can we talk about this? What is happening here?" There would be a very long rant on a piece of news. And Jason is so good about just keeping it very even and doing his best to, kind of keep his thoughts on the subject to himself or to me in a text. And I would probably break that fourth wall and we would have to have a conversation.
There's a couple more questions.
Oh, well, we can take a couple more before we run away. That's fine.
Ted wants to know, I want to travel alone in smallish class C to visit friends and relatives throughout the U.S. Do cities allow parking and staying a few days in front of someone's house? Some do and some don't. Sometimes it's like you can't have a vehicle parked in a spot for more than 3 days. Sometimes it's like you can't have a vehicle longer than 21 feet parked on a city street. It's all over the map. I will say there are fewer and fewer cities that allow it. Some cities, it's different places. So like when we lived in Chicago, we had, for a while, I had a pickup truck when I lived in Chicago. It was a Ford Ranger Splash. Calling it a pickup truck was a joke, but it had B-truck plates in Illinois. And in Chicago, the law was things with truck plates on them could not park on residential streets. So if I was overnight, if I was parked overnight on a residential street, I'd get a ticket. So what I'd have to do is go park on the main arteries.
We had to
And
move.
the main arteries would be, you would have to move by 7 a.m. usually. It would either be like no parking from 7 to 9 or no parking from 4 to 6.
It was so annoying.
And you were never getting the 4 to 6 ones. You're always getting the 7 to 9 ones. So I have to get up and move the vehicle at 7. So
I do not
in
miss
Chicago, you'd be able to park a small motorhome on the artery streets like that, but then you'd have to go move it by 7 a.m. So it's that kind of
Could you
thing.
imagine trying to park something on Ashland?
I did a lot.
Like a motorhome on Ashland or Clark or
It'd be-
could you even?
It'd be a challenge.
Could you? I
be
can't even think about it. A few other things that our wonderful mile markers are pointing out right now that we failed to mention is that there is nonsense. It is an absolute understatement. We also have book club. We do book club every other month. We do have our book picked, and I need to get that sent out. We do a cookbook that we cook through together as a group every year. We've been doing Make It Easy by Danielle Walker this year. But I do believe, as Doug is pointing out here, that we will be doing the griddle cookbook from
Stephen Reikland's
thank you.
griddle
Thank
cookbook.
you.
And even if you don't griddle, if you don't have like a Blackstone, something like that, pretty much all these recipes can be done in a frying pan. Spoiler alert, a frying pan is the same thing as a griddle.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So that'll start in January. We'll have that cookbook. And then, of course, we're always developing new and fun ways that we can all spend time together in the mile marker community, as well as here too.
Speaking of Chicago, just don't jump on
Dave
the street.
Somebody tell Dave Matthews.
Does everybody
please.
know the Dave Matthews story?
Anybody
'Cause
get a hold
we
of
were in Chicago when this happened. The Dave Matthews Band.
The worst.
The bus driver, they must have like a push button tank dump, was over the river on a bridge and trying to dump into the water.
Gives a whole new meaning to don't drink the water, doesn't it?
A tour boat went under the bridge at the same time.
That was not the architecture they thought they were going to get that day. Let's just say that. I mean, I don't know how DMB showed their face back in Chicago after that, but they did and they still do. So on that note, wow, what a great spot to end. Dave Matthews Band dumping their black tank into the Chicago River.
I worked with a guy
Wonderful
whose
place
brother,
to end tonight, friends.
Whose brother was a guitarist for Dave Matthews. And he said that Dave Matthews was incoherently drunk off his face for every show. They would be so concerned.
Understand anything
They would be
he's
so
saying in his
concerned that he would
songs.
be able to, and then he'd just get up on stage and snap and he'd be fine.
Well, that's usually how it works when
Not
you're a
to
functioning
slander
alcoholic.
anybody. But
So
it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. That's how it
So
works.
anywho, that's generally how it goes. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. This is really, truly one of our favorite things to do each and every month. So, and thank you to everyone out there who continues to pop over and spend time with us on the content we're creating, whether that be the RV Miles podcast here at the RV Miles YouTube channel or over on the Parkography podcast. We are just so, so thankful for you and just really honored that we get to do this for a living. So until we see you all again around the interwebs, until we meet again, which will be very, very soon, because you should go watch Jason's news video if you haven't watched it already.
Yeah, go over there.
We shall see you all soon.
See you real soon.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Jazz hands.